Changing whatever you need to change and accepting whatever you don't need to change is living enlightenment. Approaching the life with sincere playfulness is living enlightenment. Feeling a constant connection with cosmos is living enlightenment. Enjoying without craving and renouncing without suffering is living enlightenment. Living beyond your ordinary logic is living enlightenment. Discovering and celebrating that you are unique is living enlightenment. Welcoming every way in which life introduces itself to you is living enlightenment. Working with passion, waiting with patience is living enlightenment. When intensity becomes part of your very bio-memory, your very cells, you are living enlightenment. Restful awareness in every action is living enlightenment. Living with a deep feeling that the whole cosmos is miracle is living enlightenment. Surrender without guarantee from to whom you are surrendering is living enlightenment. Constantly supporting the needs of your being instead of the needs of your ego. Constantly supporting the needs of your individuality, not the needs of the personality, is living enlightenment. Running your life on inspiration, not on effort, not on fear and greed, is living enlightenment. Every single time you unclutch, you are living enlightenment. Living with a yogic body and Vedic mind is living enlightenment. Living with a free and open, liberated inner space is living enlightenment. Freedom from whims and fantasies is living enlightenment. Remembering what you need to remember and forgetting what you need to forget is living enlightenment. Not carrying vengeance against others or oneself is living enlightenment. Taking responsibility for everything happening with you, in you and around you is living enlightenment. Living with the power to create your destiny every moment is living enlightenment. Having the courage to change when change happens to you is living enlightenment. Living without a gap between inner and outer worlds is living enlightenment. Enjoying the chaos of life within the frame of your body as an ultimate order is living enlightenment. When the ideas of honor and dishonor can no longer touch you, you are living enlightenment. Not being caught in extremes is living enlightenment. Living effortlessly is living enlightenment. Having a clear understanding of oneself and the world and God and humanity is living enlightenment. Approaching life with a beginner's mind is living enlightenment. Opening yourself to the other and through the other to the whole cosmos is living enlightenment. Using the right mask in right situation with right people is living enlightenment. When a spiritual awakening happens to you, remaining in that new state, coping up with that new state without falling back into the old mental setup is living enlightenment. The courage to live in utter insecurity is living enlightenment. Intense seeking is living enlightenment. Daring to unlearn itself is living enlightenment. When you stop trying to lead life and allow life to lead you, you are living enlightenment. Thinking, speaking, acting in align with the truth is living enlightenment. The courage to face fear without fear is living enlightenment. Saying complete capital letter yes to life is living enlightenment. Welcoming the uniqueness of others without awakening your jealousy is living enlightenment. Feeling a deep friendliness towards your body and towards everything through your body is living enlightenment. Taking on responsibility without creating pressure and stress in you is living enlightenment. Living in choicelessness, the choiceless freedom is living enlightenment. Feeling all life as sacred is living enlightenment. Freedom from guilt, experiencing the life beyond guilt is living enlightenment. Understanding that all your problems are no more than a hard hug from life. I can say, you think as hard hug from life is living enlightenment. Impersonal compassion, compassion which flows towards everything is living enlightenment. Having the courage to love and let go when required is living enlightenment. Do your best and leave the rest is living enlightenment. An ordinary life lived in an extraordinary way is living enlightenment. Working from intuition, not just from dull intellect, is living enlightenment. Gambling this life and losing it with the divine, losing it to the divine is living enlightenment. Being true to oneself, honest to oneself is living enlightenment. Intense passion directed towards no object, no person, no situation in particular is living enlightenment. Correct listening, right listening is living enlightenment. Knowing when to bend and when to stand and doing it is living enlightenment. Going beyond both doubt and faith is living enlightenment. Celebrating yourself as a conscious miracle of the cosmos, of the divine, is living enlightenment. Love minus possessiveness and suffering caused by possessiveness is living enlightenment. Being total in whatever you do is living enlightenment. Seeing the world each day, each moment as if for the first time you are seeing it is living enlightenment. Living in gratitude, eternal gratitude is living enlightenment. Risking your beliefs to explore the truth is living enlightenment. Living by consciousness, not by conscience. Poor conscience is living enlightenment. Keeping the trust alive no matter how many times it is breached, no matter how many times it is broken, keeping the possibility to trust alive is living enlightenment. A constant conscious connection to something higher than you is living enlightenment. Spontaneous living in with cosmos is living enlightenment. Understanding clearly that yesterday's free will is today's destiny and today's free will be tomorrow's destiny is living enlightenment. Being a natural inspiration for conscious living for those around you is living enlightenment. Not allowing your intelligence to destroy your innocence, your intellect to destroy your innocence is living enlightenment. Total surrender with total responsibility is living enlightenment. Living with utter simplicity in the outer world and abundance in the inner world is living enlightenment. The courage to be yourself is living enlightenment. When you cannot be caught by desire nor shaken by fear, you are living enlightenment. Realizing that nothing needs to be added to you and nothing can be taken away from you is living enlightenment. Exploding your potential in 360 degree is living enlightenment. Moving from fulfillment to more fulfillment, fulfillment to more fulfillment, from more fulfillment to more and more fulfillment is living enlightenment. The courage to make mistakes and ability to learn the lessons from the mistakes is living enlightenment. Allowing all emotions to play in you without touching you, only letting them to teach you is living enlightenment. Living in romance with yourself and through yourself with the whole cosmos is living enlightenment. Doing a little more than you possibly can in any field is living enlightenment. Daring to live without ordinary beliefs is living enlightenment. Intense excitement for no reason is living enlightenment. Enjoying the path and the goal is living enlightenment. Expanding beyond the boundary of your body and mind is living enlightenment. Continuously bridging the gap between your expectations and the reality is living enlightenment. Living without regrets is living enlightenment. Radiating causeless, overflowing love is living enlightenment. Infusing silence into your being and bringing restful awareness to you is living enlightenment. Enjoying everything that happens in your life as auspicious Mangala is living enlightenment. The strength to face life and death lightly is living enlightenment. Dropping the desire for suffering is living enlightenment. Walking through life with open arms is living enlightenment. The willingness to change your opinions and strategy for life is living enlightenment. Simplicity in words and actions is living enlightenment. Just being aware of the games of the mind is living enlightenment. Serving without even knowing you are serving is living enlightenment. Living without defenses is living enlightenment. Taking the leap in consciousness is living enlightenment. Living in Nithyananda, eternal bliss, Nithyananda is living enlightenment. Thank you.